Hey guys, OG Albina here, bringing you guys my IBL Season 6 Week 4 match against JV Westside and his Arkansas Razorwinds. If you guys haven't checked out our team builder that went up, should have went up yesterday, I believe it did, be sure to go check that out. I'll leave a link in the description below. But a quick rundown if you haven't caught that and you just want to get right into the battle. We're bringing a very speedy 3 attacks Roost Mega Scizor, a Choice Scarf Mammal Swine, a Dragon Dance, Dual Stabs, Taunt, Komodo with Dragonium Z, Ice Beam, Earth Power, Soft Boiled, Toxic, Lumberry, Mew, a Choice Specs Greninja, and a Quiver Dance, 3 attacks, Pixie Plate, Ravombi. And our opponent's team, they decided to bring the Blaziken, Golisopod, Mega Diancie, Miltank, Musharna, and Garchomp. They had a bunch of other options, stuff like Magnezone, which I really over-prepped for, Manaphy, bunch of stuff like that. But again, if you want to see me like go into full depth of the team matchup and all that sort of stuff, be sure to definitely go check out the team builder from yesterday. But right off the bat, first thing I'm noticing is I under-prepped so heavy for that Golisopod sitting on the screen, and I got into the team matchup and I realized that it 2-hit KOs everything. It's dual stabs, 2-hit KO everything on my team. I kind of have to pick and choose every time it comes in, which is absolutely terrifying. My best check to it, I would say, is maybe my Mega Scizor. If I can get my Mega off, I can potentially not be 2-hit KO'd by it. So right off the bat, I really want to lead with my Mega Scizor. I want to try and get my Mega off, and I want to U-turn out, and go from there, hoping maybe he'd lead, Mega Diancie or Miltank and try and get a Rocks or the Musharna or something like that for some reason. So that's going to be my game plan initially, is to lead off with my Scizor to hopefully, have that Golisopod check available to me in the back right here. As we're going to see, spoilers right off the bat, he is going to end up leading off with the Blaziken, which that is probably the worst case scenario lead for me. I'm definitely not going to stay on this thing. I cannot live any hit from any fire move from this thing. And I don't want to risk my Mega Diancie check, what looks to be my Golisopod check at this point. So I am going to pull the switch out. I'm going to go right into my Mew right here, because it is my best, switch into it. As he is carrying the knockoff, and he does go for the knockoff. Now, luckily, that's not a 2-hit KO, but unluckily, that does get rid of our Lumberry right here. So I am going to be, he is going to be forced out, obviously not want to taking a Psychic move or anything like that. He's going to go out into the Musharna, which is a good mid-ground play. I'm going to go for the Toxic, especially when we switch out. And this is where having that Lumberry tech would have been amazing, because he would have synchronized this Toxic back to us, and we would have healed it off with our Lumberry. But, oh well, you live and you learn. Mew isn't completely useless at this point. But it is going to be very hindered in being toxic, which means we do lose a very good check to the Blaziken. Well, it's not as good of a check to the Blaziken now, and it's definitely not as good of a check to the Garchomp, because I believe after poison damage, we are potentially 2-hit KO'd by an Earthquake. As right here, he is going to go out into his Golisopod as I go for a Soft Boiled, so he makes a very smart play getting in on a free turn right here, which is, again, terrifying. I am forced to switch out. I don't want to lose my Mew right now, and I know it's going to, potentially hit me with a Leech Life or a First Impression or something like that, and I definitely don't want that, as I am going to switch out right here as he goes into the Mega Scizor. As I go into the Scizor, I am not Mega'd yet, and he does a huge chunk to me with that First Impression. It still does almost half without me being Mega'd, as he is going to switch out. I am going to get my Mega off, which is very, very nice, but he's going to go into the Garchomp, which is a good play, because now I'm going to take Rough Skin damage, which is going to make it even harder for me to check that Golisopod. I believe it puts me in range of a Liquidation, and I believe actually I was probably in range of a Liquidation regardless, but this definitely doesn't help me. Even just taking the First Impressions and stuff better, as we are going to get a decent chunk off on that Garchomp, which is great. As I'm going to go into my Mamoswine right here, as he is going to be forced out. He's going to go back out into the Golisopod. And again, this is showing you how much I underprep for the Golisopod, because this is actually a great natural check to my Mamoswine. You're going to see me throw off this Earthquake, a max attack Earthquake from a Mamoswine, which should do a lot of damage. It does like 2. It does absolutely nothing. It doesn't even, force him into emergency exit range with 2. So I am going to switch out. Again, my Mamoswine's really good in this late game if I can chip down things and wear things down. I'm going to go into my Mega Scizor, which probably wasn't my best play, because it was a pretty obvious Liquidation right there, and he is going to be able to knock out my Scizor right here with Liquidation. So under prepping for that, low tier Golisopod. I believe it's tier 5. It might be tier 4 actually. is going to hurt me. I'm going to go into my Komodo, which can actually take this thing on pretty well. I didn't want to switch in before because it is probably my best win con, and I don't want it to be chipped down. He's going to go out into the Musharna. I'm going to throw off a Dragon Claw. I don't need to set up yet because I know I can't break through this Musharna at this point yet because it's still pretty high in health. And we're going to see right here, it's very, very defensive as well. But we are able to get a decent chunk off that on that thing, and the leftovers is kind of nullified by the Toxic, which is again very nice. I'm going to pull the switch out, I believe, into my Rabombi, expecting him to want to recover up, but he actually ends up going for the Psychic, just going straight for the attack, which is a good play on his part as well. And that is going to do just about half to me. But at this point, I know I can kind of break through and take something down with me. My Rabombi, being I am at half health, I'm not going to be able to really set up on anything else. So I am just going to go straight for a Quiver Dance right here. I know he's not Psyshock, so I know he's not 2-hit KOing me from this range. And I am going to get up to +1/+1/+1. As he goes for another Psychic, he's able to do a decent chunk to the Rabombi right here. And is honestly definitely going to be in range of a Moonblast right here. And I don't expect him to switch out into anything else because I should 2-hit KO everything else on his team with a Moonblast, with a +1 Moonblast. As I do go for that, I am going to be able to pick up this KO on the Musharna, which is very, very nice. This was one of the better checks to my Komodo on his team. So that is, you know, super, super clutch. As he's going to go into the Glissapod right here, I am just going to sack off my Rabombi on this turn, I believe. You know, expecting to go for the first impression. The nice thing about when he goes for the first impression to get that priority off is it gives me a free switch into anything else on my team, because obviously you can only use first impression on that first move. So I am able to go back out into my Komodo, and I'm going to be able to throw off a very, very free Dragon Dance, because nothing on his team wants to take on my Komodo at this point. He doesn't have the Musharna to check it anymore, as I'm going to get a big Dragon Dance, and this Blaziken is most definitely in range of a +1 close combat, unless he's Focus Sash Blaziken, which would be a pretty cool bring. He did lead it, so it could be Focus Sash, but we're going to see right here, spoilers, that he is not. We are able to blow him back with a +1 close combat. That crit did not matter. We were knocking that thing out unless it was like bold max defense, which we obviously saw it wasn't with the knockoff damage that it did to my Mew. As out here, right here, he's going to go out into the Miltank, and right here, this screams Choppleberry to me, and I'm -1 defense, so I don't want to take any hits from this thing. I don't want to be poisoned. I don't want to be Thunder Waved. I'm in a very bad position, and I'm going to pull the switch out because, again, this screams that he is... Oh, no, I'm going to go for the taunt right here. Oops. He is going to go right here for the Body Slam. Unfortunately, we are... I believe we're going to get paired. No, we're not going to get paired this turn. Man, I'm spoiling the battle before it happens. But we're going to go for the taunt. We're able to get a switch out in our Mew, because I know it can't really do anything other than, you know, throw off a Body Slam. And I know it's not going to do too much damage to me. And I can kind of throw off a free Toxic at this point, because his Diancie isn't Mega Evolved, so it can't bounce it back. And his Miltank definitely doesn't want to be Toxic. It'll wear it down to where it's not really a check to anything on my team anymore. And the Glissapod's going to come in. I'm going to get a big Toxic off on that thing, which is, again, really, really nice, because that does give me, you know, good, valuable chip on this thing, slowly putting it down to emergency exit range, slowly putting it into Dragonium Z range, which is looking like what I'm going to use my Z Crystal on if I have the opportunity, because nothing on my team actually can really OHKO this thing at this point, which is pretty terrifying. I'm going to go for a Soft Boil, just in case he wanted to go for anything other than the first impression, see what he wanted to go for, as he is going to go for the Leech Life right here, as I'm actually perfectly content with sacking off my Mew right here. It's going to do a huge chunk to me. He's going to get a lot of health back, but again, I do resist that with my Komodo. I can go into that and get off a pretty free Dragon Dance. And put up a lot of pressure on his team right here, as he is going to be able to knock me out, take a little bit of Poison Chip, and I am going to be able to go out into my Komodo right here. Now, I'm going to throw up another Dragon Dance right here, as he is going to go for one more Leech Life, I believe. Is he going to go for Leech Life right here? Yeah, I think he just stays in and attacks him. You know, obviously being that he's Choice Banded and stuff like that. But he is going to be able to throw out the Leech Life. It's going to do a big chunk to me. At this point, I am going to go for a Dragonium Z. It is a potential roll to take him out, but I don't want to take any more chip at this point. I could have potentially went +2, which might have been my play, especially being that he might have had Scarf Garchomp in the back. I can't knock out the Diancie from full up +1 unless he's a minus defense nature. And we potentially could have knocked out the Miltank, but I didn't want to risk a roll. I didn't, you know, I couldn't tell really from that damage if he was going to be able to knock us out if we went for another Leech Life. So I figured getting a guaranteed kill out on this thing would be much, much more valuable than potentially winning the game right here, because I still think I can win with my Mammal Swine if this thing does go down. But we are going to unfortunately not get the roll on the Golisopod. He must have had a lot more bulk than I initially anticipated. He's going to be able to live. He's going to go out into his milk tank. I know this thing's choppable, but at this point I need to break it down. And I can potentially, you know, still sweep through this team or break through this thing if it doesn't end up getting the body slam paralysis versus us. As he is going to show to be choppable berry, so our intuition was right there. As he is going to go for the body slam, and I spoiled a little earlier, he is going to get the paralysis. So we are able to live that right there, but he is going to be able to get that para on us, and then he's going to be able to finish us off with another body slam as he's able to outspeed us, you know, probably running a decent amount of speed to outspeed at +1 Komodo after the para. So we are down to our last 2 mons, but this is still very winnable. I can go out and make Greninja, and I can claim a kill right here, provided I hit my Hydro Pump. If I hit my Hydro Pump, I can kill something right here. So I am going to go straight for the Hydro Pump. I knock out the Miltank because we had showed earlier to be Fizz Def based on the close combat damage. Even through the Choppable Berry, it should have done more if he was Spadef. As we are able to knock that thing out. And right here, he's going to go out into his Golisopod. He's going to go for the first impression. I stayed in because, again, I think my Mamoswine in the back can win, especially because this thing's going to go down to Toxic right here, which is, again, super, super nice. Because this puts us in a potential position to win with our Scarfed Mamoswine in the back. However, it does put us in a bit of a 50-50 situation. Man, I forgot to take off the thing. So, in my head right here, I'm thinking I either lock into Earthquake or Ice Crash, obviously. This Garchomp cannot knock me out in one hit unless it is a Z-move variant. If it's a Z-move variant, it can definitely knock me out in one hit. So if I could go for the Earthquake, I definitely would, just simply for the fact that, you know, if I can potentially live one hit from this, even if it goes for, like, Outrage or something like that, and knock it out in 2 hits, and then obviously Oko the Diancie. But in my head, I'm thinking, if he's Z Outrage, he knocks us out. If he's Z Ground, he knocks us out. And if he's Choice Scarfed, he can 2-hit KO us from here. So I figure my best play is to go straight for an Icicle Crash and potentially knock this thing out right here, hoping that he is not Choice Scarfed. As we do go for the Icicle Crash, we are able to connect. Shung, he's not Choice Scarf. I'm assuming he's Z, because I feel like if he was Choice Scarf, he might have brought it in on my +1 Komodo and showed that card a little bit earlier, but he is going to go down to the Icicle Crash. And right here, I'm going to go into, he's going to go into his Diancie. And another reason I was felt safe in going for the Icicle Crash is because I know this Diancie cannot knock me out in one hit unless he gets a crit in some way, like a super crit or on like a Power Gem or a Diamond Storm or a Moonblast, something like that. He can't knock us out, and provided we hit 2 more Icicle Crashes, we can win this game 100% of the time. You know, with our Mamoswine right here. And obviously he can't be Choice Scarfed. If he Rock Polishes up this turn, then he, you know, he can't knock us out with another move after this unless he crits, so there would be no point in Rock Polishing at this point. As I am going to go for the Icicle Crash, I am going to hit my first Icicle Crash. We're going to do a big chunk to this Diancie right here. Definitely in range of another one right here. As he's going to go for the Diamond Storm, and he's going to miss. Now, again, that's very, very unfortunate for my opponent. I potentially, you know, could have lost that game if he... I don't know if I would have... I think I would have killed if he got the +2 defense. I'm not sure. I don't really remember his spread all that well. But if he got a crit, he potentially could have won as well. So again, that is super, super unfortunate for my opponent. I believe Moonblast did more. I think we were minus defense, special defense nature opposed to minus defense. But there's no way for him to know that we were mixed. Most Mamoswines obviously aren't going to be mixed. But we are going to be able to pick up a very nice 1-0 victory versus JB and his Arkansas Razorwinds. Very, very good game to him. This had me on the edge of my seat. It showed one of my fatal flaws in draft. If you guys don't know, I have a problem where I always underprep for these, you know, low-tier threats, these low-tier, you know, powerhouses. And that was definitely a case with Golisopod, because it just picked up kill after kill versus me. It killed the Rabombi, it killed the Greninja, the Mew, and it killed the Scizor. Well, Mew died to Toxic, technically. So technically it was a Musharna kill, but it died because of the Golisopod. So the Golisopod put in absolutely, like, way too much work than it should have. He played it phenomenally. It was obviously a great ring versus my team. Even if I did prep better for it, it still probably would have went in. But again, really, really good game to my opponent. It was a lot of fun. But we are able to pick up the win, and hopefully next week we can do the same. I believe we play Kohan and his Reno Raikou. Very good player from what I've heard, so that'll definitely be a fun one as well. But if you guys did enjoy today, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, just so you can catch our battles as they go up in the future. And thank you guys so much for watching again. I'll catch you guys later.